How's it going? Ken Arzone here, Vista, California. I've got a new tablet that I'm experimenting with. So if the video looks a little different, don't worry about it. I'm looking at Rogers Hornsby's 1922 season. Turn on a light here, see if that helps. Yeah, okay. I consider him one of the greatest hitters of all time. In fact, number 2 on my list. Ty Cobb is number 1. 366. 4,189 hits. How about Rogers Hornsby's 358 career batting average? 2,930 hits, and he played 2,200 games. Ty Cobb played over 3,000 games. 800 more games for Ty Cobb, and he has about 1,100 more hits, 1,200 more hits. How about both of these guys maintaining a high career batting average? Cobb played 24 years, Hornsby 23. 358, not bad. I'm looking at his 1922 season, one of the greatest of all time. Let me point it out. 154 games, 623 at-bats, 141 runs scored. Not bad. That's the second time over 100. 250 hits. Stupendous. Incredible. Not just 200 hits, but 250 hits in 154 games. He averaged about 1.45 hits per game played that year. 46 doubles, 14 triples, 42 homers. How about that? That's his high. His previous high was 21 homers. He hits 42. He has 152 runs batted in. That breaks his previous high of 126. So he plays 154 games and gets 152 ribbies. An RBI a game per game played, roughly averaged. 17 stolen bases, 12 walks. Listen to this. 401 batting average. Remember the year before? He batted 397 in 1921. This year he breaks 400. And he did it in the last week of the season because he was batting about 396 toward the end of the year in September of 1922. But he had a hot streak the last week. In fact, let me point out what he did. Let's see, I've got it here. His last week, he went 3 for 4, 3 for 5, 1 for 4, 3 for 4, 1 for 4, and then he finished the last game of the season going 3 for 4. That pushed him over 401. If he hadn't have done that in the last game, he would have been about 398. But by going 3 for 4 in the last game, he goes 401 for the season, and it's legitimate. 154 games, 623 at-bats, 250 hits, 401. 459 on base, 722 slugging. That's pretty good. That's first time over 700. He had a 639 the year before. 450 total bases. That's number 2 ranked all time as far as most total bases in a season, did you know? Babe Ruth holds the record, 457 total bases one year. Hornsby, number 2, 450. He had a 33-game hitting streak. He had 78 multi-hit games. 2 or more hits. 44 2-hit games. 27 3-hit games. 5 4-hit games. He had 27 games, 2 runs scored. 5 games, 3 runs scored. He had 17 games of 2 RBIs, 10 games, 3 RBIs, 5 games, 4 RBIs, 1 game, 5 RBI, and he had a 1-6 RBI game. What a year! 1922 for Rogers Hornsby, considered ranked one of the greatest of all time. Incredible. This is his 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, his 8th year in the league, and he breaks out. He establishes himself as a player to be reckoned with. How about 397 in 1921? And then he goes 401 the next year. And both of those years, he played every game. So he had 235 hits in 1921. And then he comes back in 1922 and gets 250 more. So that's 485 hits in 2 years. I think that's a record. That's got to be a record. I don't think anybody else has beaten that. 485 hits in 2 years. What a player. And he retired with 2,930 hits. If I was talking to Rogers Hornsby right now, I would say, dude, guy, why not play an extra 100 games and get those extra 70 more hits so you can break 3,000? He ends up with 2,930 hits. These guys, you got to know your career accomplishments. You got to know your career stats. Look it up. It's 1922. It's not the Stone Age. Why not go for 3,000 hits? What's the matter with Rogers Hornsby? I don't get it. Baffled by that. You didn't care? Strange character. But I've got him number 2 greatest hitter of all time. Not the greatest player. Got 5, maybe 6, 7 other players who are greater than Roger Hornsby as far as all-around play. You know, maybe Ruth, Gehrig, Aaron, Mays, Williams, Fox, some of these guys. Hornsby only had 300 career homers. The other guys, Ruth, 700 homers, Aaron, 700, Mays, 600, Fox, 500. Same with Williams. Got to consider those guys. Also, the 2,930 hits. You got to put Cobb ahead of Hornsby as far as greatest player. He's the greatest hitter, Ty Cobb, and he's ahead of Hornsby. But Cobb is not ahead of Ruth or Gehrig as far as greatest player, in my opinion, because he didn't hit enough homers. Gehrig, what a player that guy was. And of course, Ruth's number 1, greatest player of all time. Would you agree? All around. All right, that does 1922 season for Rogers Hornsby. Incredible. I'm going to rank this guy when I'm done with his career. Next video, 1923. Talk to you later. I'm out.